Hey guys, welcome to another Late Night Tales from the van. Except it's not late night. In fact, I've literally just come down from the roof from recording the Portugal Q&A video. This is the same side you saw in that. It's all bullshit. There we are. Before we delve into it too much, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Amaze, but we'll get a little bit more into that in a bit. And it's still raining really quite hard. Anyway, tonight's tale I'm going to be bowing down to pressure and going through the girl in the woods. I have been inundated with this video, especially recently. Somewhere it went a bit viral on TikTok and I've just not heard the end of it. For those of you who don't know, on my first trip abroad, driving through southern France, I pulled up in this really rural mountain kind of car park area and began to fix my fridge. And then the next day, halfway through fixing it, went for a dog walk and some weird shit happened, of which I still to this day cannot explain or figure out. Now the video was never supposed to be a story. It was supposed to just be how I fixed my van fridge, and it went south. And yeah, a lot of you have messaged me on these late night stories and said, you need to do the girl in the woods, you need to do the girl in the woods. And I've never really sat down and spoke about it since, so here we are. So let's set the tone and cast you back to roughly, I don't know, April 2018, something like that. I was making my way over the south of France on my way to Italy, and I needed an overnight spot. Where I was exactly, I get bombarded with this as well. I can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the local town. I can't remember anything about it. All I remember is I never ever want to go back there again. So yeah, I flick around on the map, go up this little mountain trail and find this little area that looks like it's in the woods and it looks quite nice. So I was like, hey, let's just go there. But upon parking up, there was actually like a big barrier against the area where I wanted to go. And there was just this little sort of wildlife car park with a couple of notices for the local wildlife and stuff about. And I was like, So I take a stroll down the hill and instantly change my mind about parking at this place because it looks sort of like it used to be a campsite kind of parking area. Long since abandoned, and right in the middle of it was this old well. Now I'm not a fan of wells. Every time I see them, all that goes through my head, as stated in the video, is the ring. And this one had two big metal shutters over it. One was like peeled open slightly. It just screamed, oh no. The irony actually that I'm now sat next to two wells that are both mine. Get some metal grates over them as well. And I decide to park up at the car park. It's a place to park. I'll carry on the next day. Flick the fridge on and about half an hour later, as has happened 4 or 5 times previous, the fridge doesn't cool the food, it starts to heat the food. And after a bit of online looking at the fix, it says basically to burp it, which is turn it upside down, let the gases do their thing, turn it back, and the next day turn it back on. And I think, oh, this will make an alright video, so let's just film it. That's how the video started. Come on, you brute. I can feel the hole. I just... No! For f***'s sake, get down! My back. Now what's worth noting here, because I don't think the video quite puts timescale into mind. This was back in the early days, wasn't very good at making videos. But what happened was I fixed the fridge on, let's say, the Saturday. On the Sunday was when this encounter happened. So I'd spent the entire night oblivious to what's around me. Now I've just flipped it upside down and back again, so I'm going to give it the full 24 hours, I think, to... What are you looking at? You keep freaking me out, dog. There's no one over there. Can you see something I'm not? There's actually a well. Just where I'm parked, you go down this little track and there's a well with a big metal bar on it. I think on the video it looks like I fixed the fridge, find the girl, think oh shit, and then carry on fixing the fridge, but that's not how it happened. It was all just a bit muddled up. So yeah, I spent the night, did what I needed to do on the fridge, put it back in its hole, didn't plug or wire it in or anything. I was going to do that the next day. Slept, woke up the next morning, took Lance for a walk, and it was a beautiful walk. Go down past the well, kind of give that bit of a wide berth, up onto this cliffside walk, walked on for about an hour, saw a couple of waterfalls, it was all beautiful. Walk back, and just as I get back to the campsite bit, all I hear from the trees and booming around the mountains is, "Oh!" And I'm like, what the hell is that? But at the time, this was broad daylight in the morning, nothing was really freaky, I just had a really nice walk. It kind of slowly got more creepy as the time went on. So yeah, I heard this booming of the woods and just thought it was either kids messing around or maybe someone was hurt or something like that. So I kind of make a bit of a beeline down to where I think the sound comes from. Find myself back at the well's on the right here. And this area kind of is like a bit of a fork, so it goes off to a point that comes back around and past the well. The track goes up to where I parked the van. And yeah, in this corner, in this fork, there was nothing. It just kind of stopped. Thick trees, thick woods, nothing. This girl just appears from the trees. Now, the voice I heard sounded a bit like a man. This girl was, I don't know, she wasn't very old, I wouldn't say. She's like mid-teens. That's the way I'd describe her. But no hair. Dressed in, I think I called it a tunic in the video. I don't know if that's the right word. But imagine like what a monk wears, like a brown sort of overall sort of thing. And no shoes. No shoes at all. Again, at this point, not particularly freaked out, just like curious. So I start walking towards her. I say bonjour, she says bonjour back. And I was like then stumbling to try and think, how do you say, "Are you okay?" in French. Couldn't get to it, so I just said it in English and thought she might understand. And that's where it started to turn a little bit, because I said, "Are you okay?" She was maintaining eye contact and then just kind of did that and then carried on walking. I was like, that's kind of weird. Then I realised that throughout the entire kind of thing, Lance, who is renowned for embarrassing me by jumping up people and just being a general spaniel, you didn't even acknowledge her. Now, I'm not one for ghosts. This was not supposed to be a supernatural video anyway. It was, to me, always just a weird encounter. But there was a certain few aspects about this that was just like, this doesn't make sense. And I'll get into them now. So Lance always jumps up to people, always wants to go and say hello, and he didn't with her. That was my first kind of point of, this isn't, something's weird here. Second of all, the voice was that of a male. When she said bonjour, quite clearly wasn't her voice. So someone else was moaning in the woods. It was all like, okay, what's going on? So she'd kind of like walked on past me, hadn't responded to my "Are you okay?" Then the cogs start turning, and I'm thinking, this isn't right. So I turn round to go and like double check. Absolutely gone. Nothing. The woods went on for a while and there was absolutely nothing in that direction. The road that I'd come in to get to the car park kind of like bead off, and they both went off in this direction. We were looking that direction. So there was nothing for miles. It was just woods. And that is when I felt the blood start to drain from my face. It was like, where's she gone? The well at this point is like here. It's like, all I'm getting is flashbacks from The Ring. Right, now before this video goes on any further, have you ever dreamed about doing this sort of thing, going off in your own van and being chased down by a weird bold girl? Well, with today's sponsor Amaze, they could make that dream come true, as you could be in with a chance of winning a 4x4 Mercedes Sprinter. This van has $80,000 worth of customizations from Vansmith. It is a beautifully put together van with all the amenities you're going to need, and with its 4x4 capabilities, you can take it places where most people won't dare. Or if 4x4 in off-road and exploring isn't your thing, you can just take it to the beach, open up them back doors, get your butt out and get some photos for the gram. All encapsulated in a beautiful contemporary home on wheels. And this is where Amaze come in. They set up all sorts of these different events where you can enter for your chance to win an amazing prize, whilst at the same time raising money for charity. By entering $10 for your chance to win the Sprinter van, you'll help in Access Fund. And Access Fund's mission is to protect public lands, restore and repair climbing areas and impacted walking trails that have suffered from overuse or damage. So a worthy cause, I think, and off the back of it you could end up with a van of your own to go off and do these weird and wonderful adventures. So for your chance to win the 4x4 custom Mercedes Sprinter, my god that's a mouthful, just head to amaze.com/Project Amber. The link is in the description below, and who knows, it could be you. Now, the only clips I get of all of this happening was just from an Instagram story. I didn't have any cameras with me really. My phone camera at the time was a bit naff. And I just wasn't thinking. I wasn't really doing YouTube all that much at this point. So to me, it was just like, get on a story. So as it was happening, people were seeing it. My friends were seeing it, all this sort of stuff.
Okay, I'm seriously freaked out now. A minute ago, I could hear like really loud moaning, like "Ah!" Like just booming across the mountain. So I've come down to where I could hear it. Got to this old well, and it stopped. But just as soon as I got here, just from over there, there's no track or anything. It's just wood. This girl appeared, dressed like kind of like a monk, no shoes, and no hair. So I said bonjour and that, and she responded. I asked if she was okay, but she didn't respond then. She just carried on walking. So I carried on a bit and then thought I better double check. Went to go and find her again. She's gone. That way, that's where my van is, and that goes to the road. But down where she went that way, there's nothing, and there's nothing for miles. Where did she go?
So I start by explaining what's going on, and that I'm getting a bit freaked out, and the well and all that sort of stuff. Girl, nowhere. Girl. Still losing my voice from up top. Bushmills will sort me out. Girl still nowhere to be seen. Now I start walking back up the hill towards the van, and just by chance I spin round and I can see movement again. So I get the phone back out, get ready for the story again, and I get that tiniest little clip of her walking back. And I'm like, well, where's she going? She's gone from nothing in the woods to even thicker nothing in the woods. And my phone is starting to beep from friends and stuff like, what the hell is going on? Where are you? And I'm starting to get a bit of a pace on to get back to the van. It's still quite a climb to get to it. And it's now where things just get inexplainably freaky, because this girl now manages to teleport from one side of the forest to the other. Only way to explain it properly is with a little diagram. So van's up here. Here's the well. This is where I've come back from my dog walk. So the point I'm here, and I spotted her and got the clip walking back. She was walking back into these trees. She's gone from over here, and then I saw her about here, this side of the forest, and she was sprinting through the woods, full blown, like going for it, legs, arms flailing, going for it through the woods. And even now I can see it, and it's just like, oh. For obvious reasons, I didn't stop to get the camera out at this point. I ran. There is no explanation on how she got from where I last saw her to that bit. And bear in mind, she had no shoes on. She was sprinting through nettles, branches, fallen trees, God knows what, woodland floor, in no shoes. What the f? Now I begin to run, as you do. No more footage is taken. My phone then starts going. That's my friend Katie, who's been watching the Instagram story, and she's like, what the f? Get out of there now. And I'm like, I'm trying. Getting the van going. The fridge is still hanging out. There's stuff everywhere because I haven't packed it down ready for driving yet. Bollocks to it all. The suspension hasn't come up, but I'm like, it. I'm off. Get me out of here now. Wheels spin out of the car park, and it's this tiny little single lane mountain track to get back through, weaving and curving round rocks, and all I can think is I'm just going to come around a hairpin corner and she's just going to be stood there in the road. Not even going to man it up here. I was shitting myself. I was properly scared of this teenage girl with no hair. I think in the video I say I drove like 50 miles. That was probably an exaggeration. Adrenaline was still pumping at this point. No, I drove like probably 2 towns over, which was still about 10 miles. I was like down off the mountain track, razz through this village, onto a dual carriageway, further towards Italy, and then I found this area that was like near some houses, so I was like, you know, safety in numbers.
I wasn't sticking around. I left. I booted it. I saw the girl another 2 times. The last time I was near the van, and she was running through the forest. Yeah, it's a pretty big mess in here.
And that was that really. I have no explanation. I have no willingness to return to get an explanation. But from that, it sort of faded away. Like people watched it. It kind of become a bit of a joke between me and my friends and those who saw it on the Instagram story or the later video. But it's only, I'd say, this year where it's kind of re-emerged and gone well, viral, frankly. I have had an unfathomable amount of messages, comments. Nuke's Top 5, I think that's what set it off. Nuke's Top 5 did it.
Not a happy camper. The YouTube channel Project Amber follows the travel exploits of a British guy named CJ and his dog Lance.
It was in like 5 top scary things to happen in the woods. It all just exploded. I then had a Russian one do it. One guy was nice enough to actually ask to do it. Lots of them didn't, they just took the footage and ran with it. And then most recently ended upon TikTok on a few different pages, I think, because I was getting all sorts of weird comments from some of you guys. I can't remember, I don't do TikTok, I'm old. And I'll say again, I don't really have a standpoint on supernatural stuff, on ghosts. This whole video was just supposed to be on me fixing my fridge. But yeah, it definitely put the shits up me. The one that gets me is how she just went from where I last saw her to like in line with me, the opposite side, sprinting, and why she was sprinting, and the fact that she was sprinting sort of towards the van. She could have curved round and got to where the van was parked. And that's why I ran. Really, really got me. But to this day, I don't know. It's just one of them things that happened out on the road. I resorted to day drinking just from the flashback. I wasn't even going to drink this, I was going to put it back in. Many theories come through, especially from the supernatural people that come over from all of the supernatural channels that shared it. Some said that it was the spirit of a monk because there was a monastery nearby maybe. Others said she was literally the real life version of the girl from The Ring. And I did not like that one. Some say she was on like a day release from like a mental institution. Apparently they do that in France, they just let them roam through the woods. And I was like, really? But no, nothing explained the moaning that I heard. That, when you really start to delve into it and think, sends a couple of shivers. And nothing explains how she teleported from one side where I saw her to sprinting basically next to me. Yeah, draw what you will from it. But I can confirm it was all real. None of it was sort of staged or made up. It all just happened. And what I caught with my camera at the time was what I was seeing. What I didn't capture with the camera was because I was too busy running and shitting my pants. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. If you did, leave a like and comment below. Those of you who are here for the supernatural content, it's not what this channel's about. It's more travel and van life and off-grid sort of living. But yeah, thanks for stopping by anyway. Who knows? More weird shit might happen. The other day I got chased down by a cardboard Phil Mitchell. So, you know. Those of you who have been here a while and like requested for this one, if you've got any more requests and want me to go into more stories of what happened and any of the videos that happened previously, let me know and I'll put them into the list. I might just do a late night tales actually at night next time on that. But for now, yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.
So, did CJ have a run-in with a ghost in the remote French countryside? Let me know what you think.